Welcome, everyone, to the introductory episode for the Kernel of Learning Podcast. So excited to have you here today with us. We are here today with one of the show's hosts, Marc Gilman. Hey, Marc.
Hey, how you doing, Ryan?
Good. It's great to be with you today.
Excellent.
Good. And just to give everyone some context, so my name is Ryan. I am one of the producers of the show, and really the purpose of today's episode is to talk about what you, the listener, can expect from the show today. So, Marc, give us a little background, a 10,000-foot overview of who you are and kind of your work experience and some pertinent details for the listeners today.
Great. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, I've got 20 plus years of working with enterprise scale software solutions in global companies. It boils down to understanding requirements, designing high impact, high ROI implementations, and making them successful, with my emphasis now focused on the e-learning market, specific to procurement and supply chain teams on a global basis.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Thank you for that. And so you are with, Procurement and Supply Chain Academy currently.
Yes.
And so what are they focused on from a business perspective?
Well, our name makes it pretty obvious, but our sole focus is we're a specialist in procurement and supply chain in terms of e-learning and impacting performance by improving on-the-job skills and capabilities of your team. So we work with global companies, global supply chain and procurement teams.
Great. So that is quite an interesting field to be in, probably in and of itself, but especially during this current time period that we're going through, right? So we're recording this early 2021. The light is at the end of the pandemic tunnel, so to speak, we all hope. But what have you seen during the current time period and context, recently and going forward?
Well, I've seen a couple things. Number one, certainly our hope, like everyone else, is that we're experiencing a pandemic that's temporary. Mm-hmm. And I think over the past year, we've seen procurement and supply chain become rather famous, as opposed to being perhaps behind back office functions. They've really come to the front in terms of how important they are. And during this period of all of us working virtually, it's become very important. It's become very strongly noticed how important, how valuable a well-designed virtual or e-learning academy can be as a tool in developing your team. So it's not just individual development that we do, it's focus and emphasis is upskilling your entire team, regardless of experience and background. And we've really seen some amazing results over the past 12 months, even though people are working virtually.
That's great. I think, one of the things, and being in a pandemic, right, you want to make sure your business is as insulated as possible, and never got into the workforce thinking, hey, how does my industry hold up to a pandemic? But certainly what you guys are doing, I would say probably holds up quite well. And, it's an exciting field, it sounds like. So,
right. And it keeps teams engaged and a sense of collaboration when they're learning as a team. So
yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Those are all very key things. So, for the Kernel of Learning podcast, Marc, so are there any key trends that you wish to highlight for future discussions? I mean, what can the listeners expect from this podcast going forward?
Right. Well, we'll be talking about a variety of topics, and we'll have a variety of guest speakers, both our clients and external third parties who are key influencers in the industry. One of the key trends that we've seen, certainly over this past year, if not most of the time, when we're engaged in high-end learning, is context. Context is king, context is queen in learning today. Because like most things, we're awash in an excess of content. So there's no shortage of content. The key to success that we've seen is putting superb content in front of learners at the right moment in what creates engagement at the learner level. And learner engagement is really what drives success in team learning, in project learning, and driving high impact, high ROI for our projects at global companies. So our major push for 2021 is driving higher and higher levels of context to our learners. And you can see that best expressed in what we're doing in our development pipeline for 2021, which is very ambitious, but we've already introduced the first of multiple industry-specific curriculums with our Pharmaceutical Academy. And that was created in cooperation with our lead pharma clients and in discussions with prospective clients, which are now onboarding and getting tremendous success both from our base academy and the additional benefit of a curriculum designed specifically for pharmaceuticals. And we're doing that with other industries throughout 2021.
Great. Wow. Exciting things ahead, it sounds like.
Yes.
Very cool. And so going forward, you will be one of the primary hosts of this show. So you'll be interviewing the other guests. So this was just, kind of that taste of the intro episode. What's this show going to be about? Why should people care about it? Why should people listen to it? And also, why should people want to become a guest on this show? So I think you've done a really nice job of laying that out. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with some future episodes. Definitely will be tuning into a Kernel of Learning. Now, how can people get connected with you, Marc? What's the best way for them to stay up to date on what you're doing and kind of keep your information top of mind and get an insight to what you guys are doing?
Right. I would just ask anyone, just send me a connection on LinkedIn or a message on LinkedIn. And again, like anyone else, I'm online and available, and we'll chat. So
Awesome.
We're looking for people that are experts. We're going to draw from our client base and our partners and others that we know that are experts in the different competences that we have within both of our academies, whether it be sustainability, where we're going to be doing additional seminars with the ISM starting in May, or other topics that may be of interest to both our experts and our clients.
Great. And it's Marc, M-A-R-C.
Yes.
Gilman, Gilman on LinkedIn, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, for everybody who has not already connected to Marc, please do so on LinkedIn. We're really looking forward to what the future of the podcast holds. Marc, thanks for being with us today.
All right. Thank you very much, Ryan.
Absolutely.